Hi everyone, if you enjoy what I do, then I think you'd enjoy my short collection of short stories, available now on Amazon. Please make sure to subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon. Enjoy the video! The overworld of Minecraft holds many varied and distinct lands, but of all of them, potentially none are more mysterious than the mushroom fields. Stretches of living mycelial creep, dotted with mushroom-like growths, and occupied by bizarre fungal creatures, apparently attuned to their unusual home. Their adaptation, though, may not be a willing one, with the land they occupy far less fantastical than it initially appears, crawling as it does, ever outward to consume the world beyond. By the lizards long ago, however, the terrain can be extremely dangerous. Right, time to die. Hidden far out in the vast stretches of the Overworld's oceans are lands unlike any other known to villager or illager. Islands made up of living creep that coats every surface and sprouts large tree-like structures. Only these are far different to any known on the mainland, possessing neither leaves nor trunk, and made up of the same fleshy substance as everything else on the islands. Some consider these mushroom fields to be so strange that their origin must be beyond the Overworld entirely, hailing from the stars. Others, though, believe that they are of a deep, dark place below even the furthest depths traversed by explorers. While either of these origins could be true, what seems clear is that the organic mat did not spontaneously appear on these remote islands, and may rather have formed upon the deep ocean floor. For deep below the waves, any number of strange and alien life forms fight for survival. Upon the most ancient of the sea floors, countless forms of algal mat and cyanobacteria would begin to evolve. Some would form symbiotic relationships with the sea life around them, while others would aggressively encroach on their competition, driving them to ever evolve lest they become a memory lost to time. There was one that was different, however, a form completely unlike those which had evolved alongside, for where the others could most often be identified as some sort of plant, this newcomer was a fungus, and instead of growing outwards to compete with its neighbours, it grew upwards, taking advantage of the open ocean to spread a great fleshy hood, which it would then use to blanket everything around its stalk, all at once consuming great swaths of the seabed before anything else had a chance to react. It would dig mycelial tendrils deep into the substrate, bypassing its competition and sprouting new stalks in any area it could, repeating the process until vast areas were overtaken by the invasive being. Not merely content with dominating the ocean floor and uncontested in its own environment, the fungus would reach up into the open waters again, only this time in a much more permanent way. It would continually sprout stems through its own mat, generating new layers one upon another, leaving the one below to die and decay into dirt. While other stromatoforms existed within the ocean, none were so prodigious as the ever-growing fungal colony. Despite its continued growth, the process was still slow, and the ocean large, so the process would go on for many eons, with none on the surface knowing of what lurked below. Eventually though, the mycelial growth would feel the touch of the sun as it approached the surface, and soon enough it would break through into the open air, a new landmass generated purely through life. Granted, the speed of the process meant that it would be barely noticed had anyone witnessed it, but for the mushroom growth it was monumental. Given another epoch, the small spit of land would grow into islands, and upon them the process that had sustained for a life age of the world would yet continue, with many of the mushroom-like stems reaching up to the sky in an attempt to grow the islands even further. Unlike the deep sea in which they had originated, however, the mushrooms would interact differently with the air, and the spores which seeded the next layer of mycelium creep would be carried away on the wind and deposited into different parts of the ocean, where the entire process would propagate all over again. Slowly, more mushroom isles would rise from the sea, and although still rare, many more surely lurked below the surface, waiting for their time to emerge. Given enough time, it could be that the ocean would become saturated with mushroom fields, so much to the extent that they would begin joining up, spreading to form a continent of their own making. If enough freedom were allotted to them, this future continent may even link to the mainland, allowing the mycelial creep to infect lands far beyond its original reach. It could be, however, that the damage has already been done, as all it would ever take would be for one of the spores to take hold on the mainland, and the mushroom fields may end up spreading uncontrolled across grasslands, tundra, and deserts alike. But then, this isn't even the worst fate that could befall the overworld, as the creatures that dwell upon these mushroom islands are not of their own making. The bizzare mushrooms are an abominable hybrid between cow and mushroom, and while it is unknown for sure how they came to be on the islands, it can be assumed that they were not always this way. It could be that the spores released into the air are not only capable of spreading the creep, but infecting other living beings, turning them into mindless carriers of a microbiome specifically tailored to spreading the mushroom fields, regardless of the host's well-being. While the overworld has any number of scourges already threatening the peaceful existence of those who occupy it, at least most are known about, and can be actively stood against. A plague of mycelial spores, however, would be silent and invisible until it was already too late, and the seemingly innocuous curiosity that is the remote mushroom fields may yet be the biggest danger the overworld has ever faced. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, then I think you'd like my short collection of short stories. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, sharing it with all your friends, and if you want to support me that bit more, become a Patreon. Links are all down in the description. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time.